We're going to be sewing your new favourite dress today, summer or winter. And I'm teasing you a little with the photos right now because it's so versatile. You could make any of these, and I'm going to go through them at the end to talk about them. Your favourite dress is going to be a throw in and go, super easy to make, just one technique. And tummy's off the table. It's soft, it's airy, it's light, it's cozy, all of the things we like. Plus, you get to look good too. You need two things to make this dress. One is a top. Now we've just done a series on V-neck, so it could be that. We've also done a winter long sleeve top, so it could be that. For me, I'm going to choose my little V-neck with stretch binding that I finished last week. I don't need two white V-necks, so I'm going to change this on into a dress. We also need a skirt, and we did this skirt pattern, the quarter circle skirt pattern, way back when, and I very recently this year done it on the straight and made that white skirt. So we are going to use that pattern again. No changes necessary, apart from perhaps the length. And if you remember, I also made a lining from that same material when I was making that skirt, which I didn't end up using, so my skirt's already cut, waist knot, whatnot. The one thing that you might want to change is the length. So we need to know where we're going to join it. It could be empire. It could be anywhere in between. I'm doing it right down here. And as it turned out, my pattern needed no changing whatsoever. It was going to be a long dress and it worked perfectly. But if you want to change the height, then go ahead and change the length of your skirt pattern so that it marries up with your join line and the length of where you want it to hit on your body. There's one measurement we have to take to make sure this is a true throw on and go dress, which means it's not going to hit us anywhere. It's going to go over our body, and that is we have to figure out what is the widest part of our body, take that measurement, and then measure around the hem of this t-shirt. And I am not wider than 120 centimeters. I'm significantly less, so that's going to be a beautiful throw on and go experience. Nothing catching on anything of my body. The other thing we need to do is, this is the seam line of my t-shirt there, this is the seam line of my skirt. I'm walking it around and I'm just seeing how much bigger my skirt is than my t-shirt. My t-shirt is a little smaller, just by like about 2.5 inches than my skirt, which is the crinkly fabric. So I'm now going to go and gather that, just the barest minimum little bite, and that'll fit the t-shirt. So here we go. I'm going to do a gathering stitch, and when we do that, we just jack up the length of the straight stitch. I have divided my join line into quarters, and I've marked those with pins because I like to do my gathering in quarters. Why? It gives me greater control. Now I'm going to just show you the first quarter. I'm just going over that little quarter mark a little bit because I don't want a dead spot in my gathering. So just go past it a little bit and then lift off. Give yourselves long tails because you need long tails for gathering. And then we'll go back in and we'll start just before that quarter point. Making sure, of course, that we're not going to drive over any of the tails. So you just have a check for that, because otherwise it won't be able to be pulled to gather in your fabric. And then we just do the next quarter. It's just a long stitch all the way around to the next quarter mark. If you are needing lots of gathers, your garment might need lots of gathers, then put another row of gathering stitch in. Mine is very easy, just a tiny little bit of gathering for me. All right, so you make sure to do that for all of your quarters. Now we get to the gathering stuff. You can see I've got the underneath thread. Don't pull the top thread because that will set your gathers. We don't want to set them yet. We want to actually get them into the fabric and be able to move my fabric along across the thread to spread out those gathers. Now, I can also do it from the other side of that quarter. Do you see why now me might enjoy doing it in quarters and how much more control we can get, especially if it's a long a long section of gathering, or there's a lot of gathering you need to do. It just allows you to get in there from two different directions and really set the gathers in there. All right, this is the quarter of my t-shirt. I've also marked the quarter marks on my t-shirt. Let's just walk it around. I am going to use pins, but this is not how I'm going to set this in. I'm just measuring at this stage. I want to make sure that my gathering is consistent in that quarter section. So again, the quartering of our gathering allows us to really get an even distribution of gathers within that section. We're not going to have so much error where you have heaps of gathers somewhere and no gathers somewhere else. All right, so that's the quarter mark there, and as you can see, I gathered it a bit too much, so let's just take that off, ease that out a bit, and eyeball it also just to make sure that it's consistently gathered. There's no dead spots, there's no heavy spots. And let's see if we've got it better sized to my t-shirt quarter. I'm just going to walk it around very carefully. I'll use some pins just to help me out. And yep, I think it's almost there. I'll walk it out a bit more. And there we go. That's 1/4 done. That's how much gathering I need to do for 1/4 of the skirt. I've now done that for all of my skirt. I've done all the quarters. But what you've noticed is I haven't finished the edge. The raw edge isn't finished. So I'm going to do method 1 and finish that edge now after I've set the gathers in there, which means that I can't do anything with the gathering. There's no more adjustments. With my lining, because I'm having a lining, I'm doing it a different way. I've finished my edges first and now I'm gathering. And as you can see, now there's full adjustability, unlike the one where I've already set the gathers because I finished afterwards. So here's my finished skirt. The gathers are set in and finished because I've overlocked the edge. If you're on the machine, you will zigzag the edge. And now we have this whee, pile of fabric, which is what we want to discover. All right, there is the side seam of my top. There is the side seam of my outer skirt. Okay, right side and right side. So we put right sides together of the top and skirt to get this join line. But remember, I've got this lining. And I've got the t-shirt fabric sandwiched in between my skirt and my lining. There's the t-shirt. And there is my lining. Why I've done this particular sandwich, I do not want to feel that seam, and I do not want to feel that seam allowance on my legs. So this is a sensory, sensitive, beautiful way of doing away with any texture. See, there is just a smooth join line. There's no seam allowances there. That's the bit that's going around your torso, and that is the bit that will be going down your leg. So think about how you're going to join it in a nice sandwich so that when you unravel all the layers, all of the seam allowances are sandwiched inside and nothing will touch your skin. So now we just have to go around and pin that or peg that because we've got our quarter part marks joined, and then we can sew. I am going to change over to a universal needle. I had a jersey one in, but most of these fabric layers are woven, so that's why I'm choosing a universal. It does need to pierce the fabrics. All right, now this is just a straight stitch. Don't use your gathering stitch, so take the length down to your normal length. Mine's usually about 2.75, and we are just putting all the layers together and getting them to meet neatly together and keeping a straight sew line. That sew line is just below the gathering and the finished edges, so that none of that will peek through your seam. And really there's nothing too hard about this other than the copious amounts of fabric that you are pushing around on your desk, and you're just keeping the edges together. The gathering should be sorted out and should be sitting nicely. And actually I'm finding that the skirt, which had the gather set in because I overlocked over the top of them, I measured very well because that is behaving very well and it's fitting. It fit perfectly. The lining, I do have flexibility if I needed it to adjust to fit this sew line, but I'm not needing it. I did a good job the first time. Those are just two things to think about when you decide which way you're going to finish and gather, or gather and finish. How much flexibility you want to correct mistakes, or how good you think you are at getting it right the first time around. All right, so I am just approaching the end or the beginning of this sew, and we're coming up to where we started, just keeping all the curls out of that jersey material and keeping a nice straight line of stitching. And we'll go over the edge or the end of, or the beginning rather, of that stitching and do a back stitch to finish. And that is us done. We have now got a dress, not a top and a skirt. Okay, let's have a look at that on the floor. It's a lot of material. And I've got the lining at the top where my feet just went, coincidentally wearing one of my dresses. That is the join line, and this is the skirt bit. So when I flick the skirt down and make it right side uppermost, well, you're going to see the dress appear. There's the little top, there's the skirt, all the seamed edges are on the inside, there's the front. It's pretty long, and it's good. I'm happy with that. This is what it looks like on the work table. Just you can see a straight line. Now if you didn't get it straight, you could go back in and correct it, which is kind of nice that we did it on the machine because it's easier to unpick than if you had done an overlocking job. So the last thing we've got to do is the hemming. And I'm doing the same hemming that I did on my white skirt. I'm just going to turn it up and then turn it up again. The only difference being is that I have finished my raw edge. You don't have to finish your raw edge. Apparently it's, it's fine to do, but I can get a bit skeptical of that. So I have overlocked that raw edge. The benefit of that is, apart from, peace of mind that it's never gonna unravel and fray, is that it gives me a really nice handle to turn up that edge, and it will be a consistent turn up. And you can see it's a very small turn up. You always want small turn ups when you're doing any kind of curved circular hemming, because then your material is not going to pucker and pleat and be weird. Just turns up nicely. All right, so I think you've got the idea of that. It's a long sew around, keeping it consistent and just a small turn up. And then we're going to go in again and we're going to do our second turn up. Okay, that's the first turn up. Let's go in there and do the second turn up. By the way, you don't have to do this hem. If you don't want to do this hem, you can do any hem you want. Just make sure you factored in what hem you wanted to do when you cut this. And I should say that you need to hang your skirt, when it's a skirt, for at least 24 hours to let it drop. If you are using a heavier winter weight fabric, I'm going to go fabrics at the end, but if you're using a heavier fabric, bear in mind that also may drop the dress. All right, that's the hem, 2 lines on the underside and 1 neat line on the outside. So of course when you hem, you're going to, put it on your body and just check that length, okay, before you do the final hemming. For my lining, I have decided, since I've been working on my rolled foot hemming, that I will do a rolled foot hem for my lining. It produces a beautiful little hem, and I'm pleased to say I'm getting better at it. I have solved some of the problems. Okay, so beautiful little hem. Do whatever hem you like. You don't have to do what I'm doing. And once you've done the hemming, you're pretty much done. You just got to go and try it on. Let's talk about seasonality and versatility. So There's a list of fabrics there that I've used for these projects, and they should all work. Why I wanted to have a sleeved dress and a long dress is because we're having a really weird summer. Usually we're either freezing because we get the wind from Antarctica, or we're boiling. So that's why you've seen most of my dresses are just sleeveless. They're just little camis. But because we're having this, it's going cold, freezing to warm through the entire day, I need to be able to wear layers, and I don't want exposed underarms because I don't want to do so much laundering, especially if I'm going to wear one of my warmer jackets, like this jacket that will come up. This was a really nice wool jacket that I made, and it will be perfect now to cater for that freezing start of the day that we're having with the cooler summer that we're getting. All right, now I also want to talk about the versatility of this. Versatility means, hey, let's give you some ideas of where you could go with this. You could do upcycling. If you have a look at this red dress, this was a bought dress, but it was terrible and it didn't fit and it was awful. I loved the skirt, the ruffles on the skirt, so I simply chopped it off and made myself a little red cami, and I've attached them together. And I've got this, great dress now. So you can upcycle with this method. If you have a look at the deep pink one, well, that was a salvaged bit of material from some shop that was getting rid of material for the skirt. No one liked that. I loved it because it felt nice. The texture and the touch is really lovely and light and soft. And I didn't really have much material for a top, but I found I had a small scrap that I could make for the front panel of that bodice and a small panel which was black on the back, and it got me out a dress. So there's 101 ways you can use this simple technique of joining a skirt to a top to get yourself a great dress. Now, I haven't covered with the situation when you've got a tight top and you're putting on the skirt to the tight top. If you're doing that, of course you can do it. You'd treat it like a stretchy waistband. So you'd go back and have a look at my white skirt, and instead of the waistband, you'd have your top. It's a little bit different. All right, we've now got a throw on and go dress. I really hope you have great joy in this garment. Have a lovely comfy life, and I'll see you next time.